Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Kelvin from make3dcomics.com and blacksuncomics.com, and this is part 4 of my tutorial series entitled Character Creation in DAZ Studio. In this video, we'll be discussing how to make Legacy Victoria 4 and Michael 4 morphs compatible with the first generation Genesis base figure. Stay tuned. Okay, so I'll begin with my disclaimer. I just want to let you know that what I'm about to show is my own process for creating characters in DAZ Studio. It's not the only way to create characters. So with that being said, leverage the information that's going to work for your own personal workflow and disregard anything that is not. So previously, I discussed how to apply legacy morphs, and when I say legacy, I mean Victoria 4 and Michael 4 morphs, to the first generation Genesis base figure. To catch up, you can click the link below to watch that video. Otherwise, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of how to make those legacy morphs compatible with Genesis. In order to do this, you'll need to purchase the Generation X plugin from DAZ3D.com. When I purchased it at the time, it was called Generation X. I believe the name has changed to Generation X2 because when I look for Generation X on the DAZ Studio store, I don't see it. So yes, you're going to need to spend some money. I recommend don't get it until there's a sale going on DAZ, on the DAZ store. They have sales all the time. I've included a link to the Generation X2 plugin in the video description below. It is an affiliate link, so when you click it and make a purchase, I do get a small commission off of that. And that helps me, well, it helps the channel and helps me to create new videos for the future. So if you do like the information that you see, please use the affiliate links below. So what exactly is Generation X? So Generation X is a plugin for DAZ Studio that converts legacy morphs so that they can be made compatible with newer base figures like Genesis or Genesis 2 male and female or Genesis 3 male and female. Once you've purchased, downloaded, and installed the plugin, there are a series of steps that you'll need to take. Now, this video is a bit longer than my other videos, so I've actually added a table of contents section in the video description below. That way you can jump to the sections that are going to be the most relevant to you. So with all that said, let's begin. Okay, so now we're in DAZ Studio. I'm using version 4.9. Again, mine might be set up a bit different than yours. I'm going to describe each step as I move along so that you don't get lost. And if you do have questions or if there's something that I might have missed, please ask your question in the comments field below. And I will probably do another video in the future to address that particular question. So the first step in using the Generation X plugin is locating it. So once you've installed it, you'll see here I have the Gen X tab. Right, it's just right there, Gen X. And the other tab that's going to be important here is your content library. So I happen to have that on my other side here. So the first thing you'll need to do is locate. In this case, I'm transferring a Legacy Victoria 4 morph over to Genesis. So for this particular instance, I'm going to look for the Victoria 4 morphs. So the way I find that is in, where is it? So let me see if I remember. Figures, I believe it is. Once your library gets this big, it becomes a bit difficult to locate everything. So figures, DAZ people, and I need Victoria 4.2. Okay, so this is Victoria 4.2 at the bottom. There, you see it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag this over to this pane here. So I'm in the Gen X tab. You see this morph pane. I'm going to click, hold, and drag this Victoria 4.2 morph over to here. So I do that. I click, drag, and then let go. And you'll see it's starting to load the figure. So this takes a bit of time. So we'll just wait and let it do its thing. Okay, there we go. So I moved the body over. Now what I also need to do is move over the morph injections for Victoria 4.2. So the way I do that is in my content library. Now I'm looking for, let's scroll up to the top, collapse this window. I'm looking for pose. So I go to the pose folder, and I'm scrolling down until I find DAZ's Victoria 4. Yeah, DAZ's Victoria 4. There it is. Click that. And down below is morph injections. And you'll see a series of different morph injections here. The morph injection that I want is INJ Morphs ++ V4. The reason why I want that one is because the particular Victoria 4 character that I'm moving over uses ++ morphs. So that's the only reason why I'm choosing this. So again, same like with the Victoria 4.2 character, I'm just going to click and drag this over to the morph section. So I'm going to click, hold, drag it over, and then let go. And then it's going to move that over. Okay, so that's done. So the Victoria 4.2 morphs moved over, and I have the ++ morph injections moved over. Now what I need to do is actually find the legacy character that I'm going to transfer over to Genesis. So that's a figure by Reese Cup, which is one of my favorite providers of 3D figures, and I chose Babs. This Babs character. I'm gonna make a Genesis morph for Babs. And what I like to do is I like to do the body separate and then do the head separate. And the reason why I do that is so that later on I can morph different types of body shapes together and also morph different head shapes together separately. It just means I have more flexibility in the future. So first what I'll start off with is the body inject. So that's this one here, right? BA_body INJ. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna click and drag over here and let go. And that one was pretty quick. So the next thing I need to do, you'll see a series of drop downs here. So this is defaulted to create single morph. That's what I want to do. You see a bunch of other options, but for this, all I want to do is create a single morph. The base figure that I'm using is Victoria 4. Right, so I just leave it at Victoria 4. For the select, what I want to choose, well, what you'll want to choose is transfer on for all non-zero values. Right, so select transfer on for all non-zero values. And then you're done. You just hit, well, okay, I shouldn't say that. You're finished transferring everything over into this box. Now it's time to actually create the morph. And you do that by clicking transfer. And you'll get this morph properties dialog box that appears. So I use a specific naming convention that works for me. You use a naming convention that works for you. So the identifier, I'm going to call this Babs_body. The name, Babs body. I believe that is actually how it will appear in my shaping tab. I haven't done this in a while, so hopefully. Let's continue. So the region is an actor. And now for the icon, I like to have a visual cue to know what it is that I'm doing. So basically I want to be able to see this icon when I want to use this morph. So I'm going to click here to fit it to 91 to 91 and file. So here you need to have a knowledge of your runtime. So here's my DAZ 3D library. I'm looking for my, let's go to column view. This is a bit easier. Where is it? Runtime. Runtime, I want libraries, pose, Reese Cup, RC Babs, because that's the character. That's the full injection. That's the full injection. I don't want that. I just want the body. And the rest I can just leave as the default settings that you see here. And I'm going to hit accept. And again, I'm going to let DAZ Studio do its thing. Okay, so that's done. Now nothing spectacular is going to happen at this point. You don't even really get a confirmation, but it is done. So what I need to do now is close DAZ Studio and reopen it And now I'll show you where that morph has actually appeared so that we can apply it to Genesis. Okay, so the point that we're at now is I have created a morph for Genesis that looks like a Victoria 4 morph. What I'm going to do now is load up the Genesis base figure and apply the morph that I just created to Genesis so you can kind of see how to apply it once you've actually created the morph. So it's a two-step process. Now we're in part 2. So I'm going to go to my Smart Content tab and Figures, and I'm going to look for Genesis. Okay, there we go. Here's Genesis. Okay, and now to apply the morph that I just created. So I'm going to go to Shaping, Actor, because remember before I saved it under Actor. And there's Generation X, so we're going to get to that. First I need to apply the Victoria 4 base morph to Genesis. So I'm going to go to Female. I'm going to scroll down until I find Victoria 4. There it is. So I apply Victoria 4. Perfect. Now I'm going to come down to my Generation X tab. And you'll see this is the Babs body one that I created. So now all I have to do is make sure that Genesis is selected. The way I can confirm that is in my Scene tab. Right, Genesis is selected. The only thing in the scene, so in this example is pretty simple. And then I just turn this dial up and you'll see the body shape change. Right, so instead of the base Victoria 4 body shape, it now has Babs's body. We could actually do the same thing for the head as well. So let's go through that exercise. So I'm going to go to Generation X. In my content library, I'm going to find DAZ People, Victoria 4.2. First I move that over. Let it do its thing. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to go to Pose, my Pose folder, and I'm looking for DAZ's Victoria 4. Morph injections, again, it's the ++ morphs. Drag those over. Okay, and now I'm going to find the head for Babs, and then I'm going to transfer that. So that's under Reese Cup, RC Babs. And last time I selected the body, this time I just want the head. So I'm going to drag the head over. Okay, that's done its thing. So again, create single morph, that's what I want. I want Victoria 4. From select, I want transfer on for all non-zero values. Again, that's transfer on for all non-zero values. Then I'm going to hit transfer. Now here I'm going to do something a bit different. Instead of Babs's body, Babs underscore head and Babs head. Again, this is my own naming convention. Now instead of actor, from this drop down I'm going to put it down to head. So it keeps it in different categories. So the actor for me, the way I've set it up is the actor is going to be the body shape and the head is obviously going to be the head shape. And now for the icon, I'm going to click this, fit 91 by 91 thumbnail and browse. So my computer has remembered the location where I can find this. And there's the head icon. I'll open that and click accept. Okay, DAZ Studio created the transfer. Now again, I'm going to close DAZ Studio and open it back up. Okay, so now the morphs that we just made, we're going to transfer the body morph and the head morph over to the Genesis base figure. First, we need to find Genesis. So go to Smart Content, Figures, Here we go. Double click on Genesis. Okay, that loads up. Perfect. Now I go to my shaping tab. This is a female figure because I transferred Victoria 4 over. I don't need that pane anymore. So I find Victoria 4 and add the Victoria 4 morph to the Genesis base figure. Now I go to my Generation X tab. And this Generation X tab only appears because of Generation X. That's where I've chosen to store the legacy morphs that I've transferred over. So here's the body shape. I inject that. Now I'm going to go to the head. It's my Generation X heads. This is Babs. So I'm going to transfer that head over. Actually, you know what? Let me zoom in on the head so you can see this a bit better. Okay, so that's the base Victoria 4 head. And there I've transferred Babs. Now what I was speaking about before, the reason why I do the heads and the body separate is because maybe I want to use a bit of Babs's head and then a bit of Emma's head and a bit of Zos's head. So I have more flexibility. I can create something new using figures that other people have made just by mixing and matching. But in this case, I'm just going to use Babs's head. Okay, now just for giggles, we're going to add the skin or the texture. Go to RC Babs. Where is the texture? Full apply. Here's the matte. Okay, so there's the head. Apply the texture. So you might be asking yourself, why do I need to go through that whole process just to make a character? And the answer is you don't, not necessarily. This is only going to be relevant to you if you have an existing library of Legacy Victoria 4 and Michael 4 content, and you still want to use that content with an updated base figure like Genesis. If you choose to leverage this process, the extra bit of work that you do now will be more than worth it when you have more morphing options and the ability to leverage almost an endless amount of Legacy 3D content that's out there. So that's it for now. I hope you learned something. Join me next time when I discuss clothing a character using AutoFit. In the meantime, please visit Black Sun Comics where you can download a free preview of Black Sun: The Longest Night. If you like this video, please click like. If you found the information useful, please subscribe. Be sure to check out some of the other videos on this channel, and until next time, take care. Peace.